What's up, YouTube? Timmy's here. Now, I've never really done like a video talk about the best of documentaries of the year. So this is actually going to be a first here, because there actually has been documentaries over the years that has been decent. Never really thought about making a top 10 best documentaries of the years. So I'm of course doing my top 10 favorite documentaries of 2024, whether it's documentary features, miniseries, or limited series, whatever. All right. Number 10 is the Steve Martin docuseries Steve. Now this of course premiered on Apple from A24, and I actually thought it was a really decent doc. Of course Steve Martin talk about his life story and really showcase how much of a comedy legend Steve Martin is. Which, speaking of, it was cool seeing Marth Short host SNL this past week. I just want to throw that out there. But Steve Martin is just a comedy legend, and this really showcased out how much great stuff he's been in. From obviously his SNL days, to The Jerk, Planes, Trains, to Only Murders, and all. I mean, I think Steve Martin is just amazing, and here I really like him. Pretty much talk about his life story, and it's a really decent one worth giving a go. All right, number 9 is the Gary Coleman documentary called Gary. Of course, this was like you had interviews by the likes of Todd Bridges, who's actually the only surviving cast members of different shows who's still around, and really showcase on who Gary Coleman was, and the hard stuff he had to go through, and I thought it was a really decent documentary worth giving a go, and really makes me miss the guy. Like I think obviously let's be real, different shows was way ahead of my time, but I actually still used to always watch like reruns here and there, and I used to always like Gary Coleman, like seeing him even make guest appearances on shows like My Wife and Kids, Drake and Josh is pretty funny, and yeah, I was really sad to learn about his passing, and this really sheds light on who he was as a person and stuff he went through. And if you guys have not really watched the Gary, like if you guys have not watched Gary, I say give it a go. It's a really decent one. All right, number 8 is I'm gonna go with the Beach Boys. The documentary about the famed music group the Beach Boys. It's a really excellent documentary showcasing on their life, on their career, and their music and stuff. I mean, I used to always like the Beach Boys. They've always put out some really decent songs, and this was a really decent documentary worth giving a go. All right, number 7, I'm going with Remembering Gene Wilder. Of course, this is a documentary about famed Willy Wonka star Gene Wilder, and of course, I really quite like seeing the art footage of Jane, of course, with his wife, and obviously the show like had cool interviews by the likes of Richard Pryor's kids was pretty cool to see. Mel Brooks and all. I mean, it really showcased on how Gene Wilder became an inspiration for like comedians moving forward. And I really appreciate it. If you guys haven't seen Remembering Gene Wilder, I believe you can find it on Netflix. Not sure if it's still there or not, but definitely give that one a go. All right, number 6 is Music by John Williams. I adore this. I mean, John Williams is one of the greatest film composers of all time. And of course, it was really cool to see him, like, pretty much, talk about his life, his legacy, his career, and showcase on the music he's done. I mean, this is a guy who did music for the likes of Star Wars, Superman, E.T., uh, Indiana Jones. I mean, the list goes on and on. I could not remember everything he did the music for. Obviously, Jurassic Park is great. You know what? Whenever that trailer for Jurassic World Rebirth comes out, I just hope we hear the John Williams score. That's the best part about those Jurassic Park trailers, was always hearing like the John Williams iconic score. But anyway, um, yeah, music by John Williams. If you guys haven't watched it, it's on Disney Plus. Give it a go. It's an excellent one. All right, number 5 is Jim Henson Idea Man. Now, this was, of course, co-directed by Ron Howard, who obviously worked with Jim Henson before on on not Labyrinth, on Willow and stuff. And Jim Henson, I do, man. I've always, was fascinated with Jim Henson Muppets, whether it's like Sesame Street, whether it's the Muppets or Labyrinth or the Dark Crystal. Something about his style and stuff was always really fascinating to watch. And this is a really decent documentary worth giving a go. All right, number four is Quiet on Set: The Dark Side of Kids Television. Now, this is a little bit one of the most controversial ones on this list, but I actually thought it was still a pretty decent documentary. Really show what child actors Sally went through, and it's just horrible. Like, as much as I do appreciate shows that I'm not gonna lie, Dan Schneider, say what about him, like he has put out some good shows, whether it's like Drake and Josh, Victorious, and all. But I'm not gonna deny how much of a weirdo he was. Yeah, stuff that went on with this documentary was very disturbing here. And of course the stuff that happened to Drake Bell, I felt sorry for. It's just really made you shed light on Nickelodeon, and yeah, it's a shame there. All right, number three is Will and Harper. Now I know there's lots of transphobes who are disliking this for obvious reasons, but Will and Harper is a really decent documentary. Of course, it is about like Will Ferrell who goes on a road trip with his former SNL writer, who's now a woman. And I actually thought this was a really well put together documentary. Will Ferrell, I adore. I've been a fan of Will Ferrell for years, and I will always continue being a fan of this guy. And I'm not gonna lie, Harper still had some cool fashion sense. I'm not gonna lie there too. And of course, it's a road trip movie. I'm always a sucker for road trip films, so there's that. Obviously, this was directed by Josh Greenbaum, who gave us Strays. I mean, I know it was an excellent documentary worth giving a go. The song that Kristen Wiig sings in this will probably get an Oscar nomination, and hopefully, the movie itself will get a nomination for documentary, but we'll see. All right, number two is Super Slash Man: The Christopher Reeve Story. Now, well, people probably say, "Wait, why is that not number one?" I actually appreciate number one a little more, but I'll get you that here a bit. Super Slash Man: The Christopher Reeve Story. If you guys haven't watched it, it's on Max. Do yourself a favor, go check it out. It's just a really emotional documentary. I mean, I of course actually was able to watch this one in theaters, and I'm not gonna lie, sort of choked up at times. I mean, really showcase on who Christopher Reeve was, like his relationship with Robert Williams. I thought was really fascinating to say. Such a such an amazing documentary worth giving a go, and pretty much technically the first film that James Gunn's DC logo was used in front of, believe it or not. All right, and my number one favorite documentary of the year is one that came out literally in January, so literally the start of the year, and that is The Greatest Night in Pop, which is, of course, a documentary about one of the greatest songs of all time, We Are the World. I'm not gonna lie, that song is really fantastic. Like, Avengers was the most ambitious crossover of all time. Yeah, Michael Jackson and one of our singers, Hold Our Mics, because that was the most ambitious crossover. Like you had, music artists from Michael Jackson, Cyndi Lauper, Kenny Rogers, I think Kenny Loggins too, right? Loads of many people, and of course, seeing interviews by the likes of Lionel Richie and was really fascinating. I really want to see like either a movie or like limited series about the making of this show. I think a narrative, either a movie or I think a miniseries sounds the better way to go with it. But I would love to see a narrative feature about this. Like that's how good this documentary was. But yeah, if you guys haven't watched The Greatest Night of Pop, do yourself a favor. It's on yeah, it's on Netflix. Give it a go. But that's pretty much it there. Here is my quick rundown. 10, Steve. 9, Gary. 8, The Beach Boys. 7, Remembering Gene Wilder. 6, Music by John Williams. 5, Jim Henson Idea Man. 4, Quiet on the Set. 3, Will and Harper. 2, Super Slash Men. And 1 is The Greatest Night in Pop. Now, there's loads of other ones I probably could have added too. I didn't see every single documentary this year. There's the John Benet Ramsey documentary that premiere on Netflix. Brats. Piece by Piece. Haven't seen War Game. The Stormy Daniels documentary. Come on, who did not like that one? Definitely did not watch that Empire Race. I didn't even bother with that one. Uh, Anti-Social Network, Black Box Stories. Uh, the one about John Bon Jovi is pretty good. I mean, he had some really decent documentaries this whole year. Anyway, let me let you guys. What are some of your favorite documentaries of 2024? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Timmy